Our hot doggy.
Well,
hot doggy.
we're here.
Are we there?
We're here.
Have a looking. Oh, God.
We're here.
Oh, my
Yes,
goodness me.
right.
There's people there already. Is that right?
No, not yet.
What's
but
the
they'll
sixth
go.
then?
That's
What's the
likes.
sixth?
Didn't leave those. Leave.
No.
Leave.
No.
He's very close to the canapes this evening.
Canapes are going. You can
them
have your
to
own
now.
little canapé, Poochie.
Okay,
You
we'll
say, this is
just
what we're
pop it
eating
out
this
of
evening.
Hannah Good
Yum,
evening,
yum.
everybody. Yeah, that's the doggy canapes.
Hello.
Here
we have
are.
liftoff.
Thursday,
Evening.
the 21st of May.
Oh, God. You're drooling. I can't have the drool.
Well, we'll just, hello everyone. We're just sorting Finn out because he's very
Really
excited
hot.
about the canapes. But we noticed he's got his love. It's a bit tight, actually. Let's loosen it. He has a very big neck. Evening, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
We've branded Finn for this evening. No, if you can see.
Look at this. Look at this beauty.
Look up, Finn.
Can we see? Finn, what's this?
Hannibal Brown. Or
Is there no end to our branding?
Hi, Alice.
Hi, Alice.
As you said, mad canapé dash. I've been on a mad canapé dash.
Yeah, as we said, this is what we've ended up with. Yum, yum.
Finn is always on a mad canapé dash. Hi, Penny. But we made it once again. It's Thursday again.
It's Thursday. All is well. I hope all is well. LG's there.
I believe that is the Wahlbergs on YouTube. So welcome back.
Good evening, YouTube. Good evening, the Wahlbergs.
Hope everyone's got themselves a glass.
Yeah, move in a wee bit here.
And some canapes.
Look at them. Beauties.
Easiest ever this week.
Well, I think she's been very busy, but she said she'd put them together in like 10
They were
minutes.
super easy this week. Because it's obviously all about two fat piggies, we had to have something to eat.
Here you are.
Just wanted to point out that the two fat piggies do not relate to Pam and myself, but to the two wines which we're going to be drinking. Obviously, Finn is a bit of a piggy, but he's not fat. So that's one thing we can't say about him.
No, he looks after
hi,
himself.
Louise. Welcome. Glad
Evening,
you guys
Louise.
will join us.
Nice to see you. Is that my mommy? Is that Mrs. Brown on the line? Good evening,
could
Mrs.
be,
Brown,
could
of
be.
Hannibal Brown's stature. I think we may have a few other Browns joining us this evening. Let's watch this.
Well,
space.
Finn is now branded like we are as a Brown. So
yeah.
It's been a busy old week this week. I'm sure it has been for everyone else.
Sure.
Half people are busy, half people are totally not busy. Finn's obviously been very busy. Those of you who tuned in on Sunday will know that we got to our live tasting just in time from taking Finn back from the vet after having consumed the key component of the bat and ball game.
Look at this. That is what that idiot swallowed.
Oh, he's not an idiot.
He is. He just went,
But he was very happy with it anyway.
He wasn't very happy when he had it extracted.
So this evening is all about wines from Spain, specifically.
The two fat piggies.
Hi, Jane and Felicity. And hi, Nettie. Good to see everyone joining in.
Hi, Nettie. Nice to see you.
So first of all, I think it's very important to say happy Thursday, everyone.
Happy Thursday. Welcome to Hannibal Brown live streaming again on Facebook and YouTube.
Indeed.
Anything else?
Finn,
Oh, hang on. The dog's out of control tonight.
Down.
It's because he's eating steak. The dog.
Back. Sit. No, sit.
There we go.
Was a good boy. There, you get a good boy when you're good. Now just sit there. Look nice.
So the update says Finn went to the doctor on Sunday, and I also went to the doctor today.
Finn related, needless to say.
Finn related, having been taken out good and proper by the dog yesterday whilst walking. He ran 100 miles per hour at me and promptly smashed my knee to pieces.
When we took him to dog training, when we first got him about a year and a bit ago, the lady who runs the training said he really reminded her of her dog, Honey, who used to be known as the bulldozer.
Well, I certainly got bulldozed.
Which is about right.
Suffice to say, but the good news is that I actually took myself down to A&E at St. George's today because such was the size of my knee. And, well, here's the good news. Anybody who wants to go to A&E at the moment, fill your boots. It was fantastic. I was in and out within 40 minutes.
Best service ever.
Yeah, they're a bit bored. They're clearly a bit bored, but yeah, great service.
So do people have the wines?
Evening, Kerry.
Hi, Kerry. Do people have the wines? Do people have some canapes? Do show us the pictures of your canapes. Tried to make them really simple this week, so I've just knocked them up super quickly in between a tasting we've just done and now.
Yeah.
And they should go really well with the wines. And I don't know about you, but I'm starving.
Absolutely. So one other update just to talk about.
Yeah, okay. I'll have a little sip while you...
Whilst the restaurant shutdown continues, people have been asking, are we running out of wine? And well, the good news is we're not running out of wine, largely because all of the wine that was sort of like reserved for the restaurant trade has suddenly become available. And so you may well see a substantial number of new wines that we might dip our fingers into just for a sort of short period.
Just to help them out, really.
Really, it is just to help them out. Actually, we've been contacted to say, look, what can you do? How can you help? A lot of these restaurants are obviously already sitting on stock, and it's incredibly expensive for them. I saw a bottle of Gran Thurdo, one of the wines we're going to taste this evening. Now, how much do we sell it for?
About £10 and a little bit.
Billy bargain. I saw it sold on a restaurant website today for $32.95. So this poor old restaurant is obviously trying to protect his margins and still keep paying his staff and what have you, but he's not going to get very far doing that.
No. Well, just to give a nod, Michelle has done the canapé. She's well chuffed. Well done.
Well done, Michelle.
The Wahlbergs have got leftover pizza and Tempranillo, but one of the elements is right.
Pizza will work well.
The pizza will work well, especially with the Tempranillo. So good job. Well done, Lawrence.
Yeah.
And Kirsty. Simon has surpassed himself with the canapés this evening.
Oh God, what's he done?
So I would like to see a picture actually of this.
Yeah, please post your pictures of what you're eating,
along with a pesto supper. Kerry says, "Nice umbrella."
What's the umbrella? What umbrella? Where's the umbrella?
Maybe
Kerry, it's not raining.
I think Kerry's out in West Country somewhere, and it probably is raining there. We don't need an umbrella here. We're in the summertime.
Oh no! Do you know what? Actually, so this week, and now this is a shout out. We should have been at the Hay International Book Festival, which it's started, and this is a festival which, well, it's only happening virtually this year online, but it's one of our biggest festivals of the year,
and
it's
our favorite
10-day book festival. And I promise you, if you've never experienced this book festival, you have to go. I have to a big shout out to my mother who suggested that we should go, and by goodness me, we haven't missed the year since. No,
it's wonderful. And actually, Kerry, who's always on here, we met there at Hay and is a big advocate to. Stop it, that's disgusting. So Wahlberg's asking, how do you post a picture? I think maybe you have to do it afterwards in the
Don't ask us anything technical.
Or just pop it on Facebook when we're done and mention at Hannibal Brown Wines.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Oh, I see. Kerry was talking about Michelle's canopy.
Oh, right.
Canopy instead of canapé. Devil's in the detail. All good here. Anyway, but first of all, let's just have a little mention about the wines.
The wines.
It is, after all, a Thursday lockdown live tasting. So
I wonder whether anybody spotted the intentional error or the unintentional error that actually said 3 Fat Piggies on the website. But
well, I don't think we even changed it. Once spotted. So hey, never mind. Here's the third Fat Piggy in the middle. So I'm just going to pop up a quick map of Spain.
Oh yes. Excellent. Here we go.
Pam will talk you through
and say
where we're talking about.
España.
So this is obviously Spain with a bit of Portugal on the side, but the white and coloured bits of Spain.
Now, everybody's got to bear in mind that Spain is the 3rd biggest producing wine nation in the world. And with France and Italy together, the 3 of them represent over 60% of total wine production. So there's a huge amount of wine coming out of Spain and Italy and France, a massive wine. So of course you get the good, the bad, and the ugly in anywhere where there's massive wine going on. Mm-hmm. So all those colours are wine producing regions.
Indeed. And what we're specifically looking at for these 2 Fat Piggies is the dark orange section. So if imagine Spain was a clock, it's around about 10 past 12 or half past 12 if you were the hour hand. So it's up at the top, the dark orange of the 2 regions.
Yeah.
Of the 2 orange patches, sorry. So that is La Rioja.
La Rioja.
So these wines are Rioja. They are from Rioja.
They're from Rioja. But there ain't no mention of Rioja on the labels.
They are not Rioja. So just coming back to us, while I find you a little picture of, I'll get a map of Rioja up, which is enlarging that orange region.
Yeah.
And we'll let you know where they're from there. But Why are they not officially Rioja?
Well, because the wine producer, whose name is Gonzalo, not Gonzalo, but Gonzalo, is a bit of a maverick. And his background was his family goes back generations having produced wine, but not in a qualitative measure. They were farmers, and it was only really when he took over from his father in I think it was the 90s, late 80s, 90s, that he established something potentially different. He ignored all the certifications that you can get from the appellations stating this is what you have to do to be Rioja, this is what you have to use, this is what you have to, and he decided to do his wines his way. And actually the key to what he did really harks back to when his father was in the vineyards. And his father was a farmer, and he watched his father's health deteriorate over the course of months, in years, as he stood walking up and down the vines with a spray thing on his back, spraying pesticides and insecticides and all sorts of nasties. All these chemicals, of course, he was inhaling them to the point which actually he was close to death.
Did in fact eventually die from his illnesses.
Did he? I thought he recovered. Well, in any case, he's not around anymore, but it certainly didn't do him any favors. And at that point, son Gonzalo said, that's it. I am making pure, unadulterated wines that have no chemical intervention. So that's where the organic element comes from in these wines. So 100% organic. As I said, no fertilizers, no nothing, no man-made intervention whatsoever. And then, of course, he got onto the old, what we call the biodynamic movement, which Jude knows all about.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. But first of all, I think we should all have a little slurp and a little bite of the canapé.
Yeah.
Kerry's right. Finn is trying to eat the canapés, but we have got some pickies there.
Yeah.
Oh, and hello to Swite. Swite is back.
Getting his Swite.
So, first of all, the white wine. Cheers, everybody. And to go with the white wine was my suggested pea and pesto canapé with mozzarella.
Look at those beauties.
So
these ones.
We've on Costini's. Do you want to take one?
I do.
We actually, I didn't manage to get a baguette, but I do have a lovely homemade rye sourdough, which we've used. So I reckon that this wine has got such a lovely soft fruitiness that the soft fruitiness of the peas almost, they've got a little sweetness, and that nice mozzarella mixed with that quite pungent pesto should be a really good combo. Are you in a position to speak whilst I
am?
Okay.
I am. So anybody who's tasting this wine, or even if you haven't got it, stylistically this wine is it's got a little bit of viscosity to it, so it kind of like wraps itself around your mouth. And remember, this is something that I do all the time, and I know it might look a bit pretentious, but I only do it for my own personal needs. I put my nose in and then I slurp the wine in my mouth like this. Ooh. It's pretty disgusting, but my goodness me, the difference between doing that and just slurping it, when it just goes straight down your gullet, doesn't touch the sides, and really you don't taste anything. If you do that and push it around your mouth a little bit, you will get so much more pleasure and appreciation out of the style of the wine. Almost, and you'll understand it a bit better.
Almost worth trying just now. Have a sip and then have a sip with a sucking the air through.
So when you suck the air through, you'll notice that wine takes on slight sort of appliness, a really kind of nice ripe apple. It's not heavy on acidity. And that's really because actually it's been produced in quite a hot climate. And we all know that higher the climate, the lower the acidity. So if you like acidic wines, go for northern hemisphere, cooler climate wines. And also it's in the style of the grape variety, which is, what's it called? Viura, which doesn't have naturally a high acidic component in it. So I just like this wine in actual fact. And I think the ripeness, there's a bit of ripeness that sits nicely with the ripeness of the peas. Mozzarella cheese is quite acidic, but mozzarella is not too acidic. And I think that's a really nice balance. Actually.
Yeah, it's nice, soft, easy.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got to give peas a chance, haven't we?
Alex just about managed to get the canapes on the table in time. Well done.
Anybody got any questions? Ask the questions.
So Ali, nice to meet you. Welcome.
Welcome.
To the tasting.
Hi. Any comments? Do you like it? Don't you like it?
Go on, one question. Ask a question away. We welcome questions here at Hannibal Brown.
And whilst we're doing that, should we make the announcement of who won?
Ooh, last week's bottle.
Yeah.
And there will be a bottle up for grabs this week, so pay attention.
So what was the competition?
So the question was, what is the average consumption per capita in India? The answer was nearest to about 4.9 milliliters or a teaspoon. And the winner was Pennywoods, who's just about a milliliter out. So well done.
That's amazing.
Bottle
That's
on its
amazing.
Way to you. Alice has got a question here saying, is acidic meaning dry? And actually, that's quite a good question because no, not necessarily.
You can have dry wine with acidity, but you can also have sweet wines with acidity. The sweet versus dry is the ripeness of the fruit. So
the residual sugar.
They're kind of not related, although they are kind of related. But it is a good question. So what was the question?
Does acidic mean dry? Or is acidic as in referring to the dryness? And the answer is not really, because you can have a dessert wine, a Riesling, for example, produced in a very, very sweet way. It's also got high acidity. So actually, it's more reference to the character of the grape. And cooler climates tend to give more acidity. And
she knows their onions. It's good, isn't it? It's great.
Bernard King, aka Dad.
Good evening, Mr. King.
Just asked, did you say Viura? And actually, it was Viura, 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 which is the primary grape in Rioja for white Riojas. But bearing in mind, in the whole of Spain, there's a lot of wine grown in Spain. In the top 15 grape varieties, volume-wise, Viura doesn't even feature. So white wines from Rioja still relatively small production.
And also got to remember, Spain is similar to France in that they rarely tell you the grape variety on the label. So this Gran Cerdo, I'm not even sure it even mentions Viura on the label, does it? We'd have to read the back.
The label has a very interesting story on it, but I don't think it says much about what's actually in the bottle.
But the point is actually the most prolifically grown grape variety in the world. Well, probably nobody's ever heard of it, actually. It's called Airen, A-I-R-E-N. And people don't hear about it because it's generally blended. And as I said, the names of the grapes just don't appear on the labels in Spain, just like France.
There's a good question here from Russell Clark. Actually,
Hello, Russell Clark.
Actually, Riesling is not that obscure a thing to talk about because this wine is 95% Viura and then 5% what they call a field blend, which is bits and bobs from other vineyards and whatever's going. And Riesling does feature in that. And Russell was asking where the best Rieslings come from, apart from Germany.
Ooh.
And it is a really good question because Riesling is grown all over the world. And it depends the style you like. So we have a fantastic Tasmanian Riesling.
We do.
Tasmania, cool climate, essentially similar to New Zealand.
And we also have a fantastic South African Riesling.
Warmer climate.
And
both high in acidity, just very different. It's more which producer than where in the world.
Exactly. But generally speaking, the Germans will tell you that it's them. The Alsatians in the north of France will tell you it's them. And basically, any decent producer will tell you that it's them. So,
but Alsace in France, phenomenally good wines, generally. And we were thinking about doing a whole session just on Alsace because we love it so much.
I think we are, aren't we?
That's not yet up there, but
it's coming. It's coming. If you really want to talk about Riesling, do.
The Wahlbergs don't think there are any great Rieslings. We will convert you.
What does that
Kerry
say?
disagrees. She agrees with New Zealand ones being good.
New Zealand Rieslings too. Right. So for those of you who don't have it, there's the question. Gran Cerdo. Why did we call ourselves two fat piggies? What's the piggy all about? So anybody who's got the bottle will possibly have read the back label. But this is an ode from Gonzalo to the nasty bank managers who, in his early days, when he was looking for support, bank support, financial support, wouldn't put their hands in their pockets and refused to support him point blank.
And just to quote a little...
And so the poor bugger had to rely on family. We know all about that, don't we? Relying on family.
That's what they're there for.
Yep. Family and friends, and all your friends, to help him through his early days.
So I'm just going to quote the label here. Gran Cerdo is a great wine dedicated to the bank executives that denied loans to us on the basis that wine is not a seizable asset. One day, these greasy and sweaty corporate suits will find the best things in life cannot be impounded. Thanks to our friends' help, we were finally able to bottle this wine. Now you can enjoy it with pasta or ham or pea and pesto bruschetta.
Yes. We need to get in touch with them.
Obviously, it doesn't say, but
I mean,
yeah,
it's a lovely story, and he's super brave to do that. But hey, why not? Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Luke's up for an Alsace evening, so maybe we'll pop it in the lineup. Actually, we have just now planned finally the next few. So just a quick update before we talk more about Spain and the wines. On Sunday is Sparkling Sunday, so it's all about fizz.
Sparkling Sunday. Sparkling Sunday.
We love bubbly, and bubbly was the biggest growing area for a wee while, and then rosé took over. And actually, it turns out during lockdown, people aren't celebrating so much.
Well, no, funny that.
So the bubbly sales have actually decreased massively.
I tell you what, my God, everybody's drinking rosé.
Yeah. Rosé is flying.
Yeah.
So it's Sparkling Sunday. Next week is all about Sauvignon Blanc. So we've got a couple of really contrasting Sauvignons. And about Sauvignon, it's one of the most popular grape varieties certainly from our customer base and what we get asked for all the time. So we thought we'd talk about Sauvignon Blanc, and we've got two fab wines.
It's what makes the world turn round. Turn round or even turn over.
I don't know, whatever she said. And then the Sunday to follow, I believe we're going to talk English wine.
English.
On request.
Scottish and Welsh.
English, Scottish and Welsh, but
not British.
Very important.
Not British.
Then the following Thursday...
Orange?
Escapes me. It could be orange. Well, anyway, have a look on the website. Go to the homepage. Click the link at the top, which says Facebook Live Tastings or Lockdown Live Tasting. You'll see the full lineup. Yeah. Anyway.
Right. Just another couple of things about this wine, or about Gonzalo's wines, his Gran Cerdos. Both of them are totally natural, unfiltered. So if you see a little bit of sediment, don't worry about it. They are not fined in any way whatsoever. They are totally unadulterated. Mm-hmm. That's two nons. Totally unadulterated. And that's a kind of quite an interesting thing in actual fact, because certain countries will not permit any speck of impurity in wines. So, for example, I remember when I was working in South Africa, and we were shipping thousands and thousands of liters to Russia. And on more than one occasion, unfortunately, all gets sent back because they discovered an impurity, and their laws stipulate that there cannot be any impurity in the wine, which is kind of sad, actually, because, of course, when you start filtering and fining and what have you, you begin to strip the wine of character. So actually, the sediment is it's not bad for you. It's not going to do anything to you at all. You don't want to drink it, but it's there for a reason, and it's keeping the character and the flavors in the wine. So too much filtration, or indeed any filtration, I don't like.
Well, we've never been all about polished, have we? Let's face it. Alice reckons the pea canapé rocks. Glad you like it. I'm a big fan of these. I think they go really well with all sorts of nice dry whites with a little bit of fruit to them. So pea away at every possible opportunity. So I've got a question. This is not the question to win a bottle of the Big Fat Piggy. That question is coming. But just because I quite like the wine consumption per capita question, because it's quite entertaining. We know that India is under a teaspoon. We know that the world average is 4 liters per year. What do you think it is in Spain per capita?
What's the consumption per capita in España?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big country, lots of wine produced, lots of wine exported.
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah.
Pop some little guesses down. Nothing to win at this stage, but the big question is coming shortly. So, Vura, field blend, organic, biodynamic.
Biodynamic. We haven't even mentioned it yet.
No, I know. And I want to say a few words on biodynamics, actually, because I think it's really fascinating. My inner hippie loves the whole principle. So, first of all, it has to be pointed out.
Natural, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's very natural. It's actually links. In fact, the really good quote for an explanation of biodynamic farming is:
pay attention.
A spiritual, ethical, ecological approach to agriculture. Okay, so it gets to a little bit of sort of non-scientific. However, it works. So
it does.
Basically, the start of this movement, there's a very well-known chap who I think a lot of people will be surprised that they've heard of, the guy who started the biodynamic wine movement. And he is the philosopher Rudolf Steiner of Steiner schools, might ring some bells. And he basically initiated this whole biodynamic farming movement back in the 20s. Now, it's all about very, very natural farming, all organic preparations, homeopathic quantities of certain
tiny
of certain fertilizers which are prepared. So, for example, one of the preparations is a cow's horn. They take, isn't it?
So I've written them down because I can never remember the names. But basically, there's 7 or 8 sort of key components to following the Rudolf Steiner biodynamic principles. So you get a cow's horn, obviously, find one somewhere.
Not a bull though; it's got to be a cow.
A cow's horn, and you put some natural manure in it. You listening? And then you add all sorts of little nettles, stinging nettles, chamomile, dandelions, horsetail, oak bark, yarrow, and valerian. And you stuff it in the cow's horn and you bury it about sort of 2 feet under the ground in the autumn, and you leave it there until spring comes. And then you take it out, dilute it a little bit, and you use the tiniest, it's some stupid amount.
It's like a teaspoon, isn't it?
A teaspoon per hectare of land. And it sounds absolutely bonkers. It is bonkers.
It's a bit bonkers.
But it's proven. And the thing about the biodynamic is the dynamic between the sun and the earth. So it's that dynamic. The normal farming principles follow the principle that 80% of the energy comes from the sun and 20% comes from the earth. Biodynamic principles turn it on its head and say 80% of the energy is coming from the soil and 20% from the sun. So it's just a different farming
But it's
process.
Extremely sustainable.
Yeah.
That's the other thing which is so great. The idea is once you've finished growing your crops, you're actually leaving the land more healthy than when you started. So instead of feeding the plant, you're feeding the soil.
Land.
You feed the soil, make the soil nice and healthy, and then that will in turn feed the plant. So it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant. In principle, it does make for a slightly more complex production, and therefore biodynamic wines can be quite expensive. Which these guys aren't.
No.
Just over £10 a bottle. Brilliant.
Yeah. And also the thing about biodynamic wines is that they are quite susceptible to the climate. And that goes for organic as well. Bear in mind, if the climate's not very good at the moment, it's fantastic. This is fantastic growing season at the moment. But if it starts raining and then you start getting rots, yourselves with your tomatoes and your beans and all that sort of stuff, you don't want to get rots, because at the end of the day, that's the end of it, really. So that kind of would be an argument for not being organic or biodynamic or organic.
Yeah, it's more difficult.
But I know myself that we've got one hell of a compost outside, in actual fact, and it's feeding the tomato plants beautifully, and they're already in flower.
They're very happy. They're very happy.
Yeah.
Russell Clark's put a question out here. It was a bit of a curveball, actually, but interesting. Why does Pinot Grigio taste like bananas?
Oh, well, it shouldn't. That is the beginning of oxidation. Russell Clark.
There are some wines, and we've been to some trade tastings actually, it's interesting. Some wines do take on the banana-y, and it's not necessarily just Pinot Grigio.
Yeah.
We've had Sauvignon Blancs like it.
You don't want to find bananas in Pinot Grigio. To be fair, Russell, you shouldn't be drinking Pinot Grigio. Come on. The world is full of much nicer wines than Pinot Grigio.
More interesting wines out there. Michelle Clark has said Bob has guessed 24 litres for the Spanish annual wine consumption per capita.
That is a really good guess. And it's wrong.
It's very high. It's very high. It's actually surprisingly low, the annual consumption. And it's not very far above world consumption full stop, which is interesting. But then I guess...
Is this to win a bottle of wine?
No, this is just me putting it out there.
Okay.
Spain is a big country. And there's also, there's a smaller middle class than a lot of countries. So the actual probably wine enjoying middle upper classes is much smaller, and you're looking at more like kind of 8 litres per head for the entire year. So It's kind of quite small. Sarah White just came in with 6, so good guess. So
I just put it out there. The Argentines back in the 80s were drinking about 100 litres per head.
Quite impressive.
I know, quite impressive.
I think that was pre-economy crash, right?
Right. Are we cracking onto the Rouge?
Yeah. Onto the Reds.
Shall we? Have we got any more photos to show?
Oh, okay. So I was going to show you the Rioja region.
Is this his water?
Yeah, he doesn't.
He doesn't want
water.
Don't want water. He knows wine.
I didn't dip the usual anchovy in there. So we've said these wines are from Rioja, but Rioja is actually split into a few different areas within itself. So I think if I do that, there we go. This is the Rioja region expanded. Now these wines are from Rioja Alta, which is the kind of orangey area. And they aren't officially Rioja, as we said. However, they are produced in the Rioja region. So they don't have the Rioja stamp on the back. But I don't think there's necessarily a particular reflection on quality in terms of which area within Rioja they come from. They're just different characters, aren't they?
Yes, yeah. And I think also this thing, we don't want to get het up about certificates and appellations, because Jude and I were just talking earlier on, and there's a reason why a lot of our wines we declare that they are organic, but they don't necessarily stipulate on their labels that they're organic because they haven't bought their organic certificate. And these certifications they cost thousands. You have to jump through God knows how many hoops. And these days, actually, there's not an awful lot of joined up thinking in terms of different countries decree different certifications, different regulations. And in actual fact, even in the European organic law, there's an awful lot of permitted adjustments and additions that are now allowed, which is it's kind of like going against the grain a little bit here. So lots of reasons for people for a lot of wine producers to turn their back on that. All we can say is that we know how our wine producers work. We were talking to somebody earlier on, I don't know whether Tim Clark's on here, Casas del Bosque is another one. They don't state that they're organic, but we know that they follow organic principles throughout, and ethical as well, looking after the land and looking after their people.
Very important.
Yes,
very important.
That's me getting off my.
Well done, high horse dismounted. So
soapbox.
Sorry. Sorry. So there's all sorts of guesses on the old consumption in Spain. So here is the big question for winning a bottle of the big Fat Piggy. Your choice, red or white, depending on who wins.
Depending on what we've got in stock.
So this is a bit of a curveball, but actually I think it's quite an interesting fact that I just read the other day, and I thought, well, it'd be quite interesting to know what people think. And please don't Google, because that's cheating. So these guys sit at around about £10 a bottle. Really good value considering how naturally produced they are.
Oh, yeah, I love this question. Question.
Here in the UK, a lot of people, less so these days, but as in the last couple of months, but people go to the supermarkets and look for the really bargains. We know that. That's just how it works. So what do you think the average retail price of a bottle of wine in this country is in terms of wines purchased? Okay, so to the nearest penny, and you get one guess each. Nearest wins a bottle of our big Fat Piggy that we'll send out to you, and you can choose red or white. So What is the average retail price of a bottle of wines purchased in the UK, in pounds and pence to the nearest pence?
And have they got to tell us now?
Well, put your answers on the chat.
Yeah.
By the end of the
Here we go.
tasting, then we will announce the winner. So you got about.
Oh, here we go.
10
Oh, they're
minutes.
coming in thick and fast. Excellent. Well done. Keep them coming, everybody. Keep them coming.
We won't be able to keep track, but still.
Although they didn't give it an awful lot of thought. Maybe you should have held off there, chaps.
Oh, no, I don't know. It's good stuff, actually.
They're confident. They're confident.
It's good stuff. Interestingly, another fact I read a while ago was 8 bottles in every 1,000 bottles purchased in this country are over £10.
8 bottles in every 1,000
are over £10.
So that gives you a little clue there.
So obviously the vast majority are in the under £10 bracket. So it's good to see that everyone's in the right ballpark and getting their guesses in. So on to the Rougey Rouge.
Yeah. Now, something I love about this wine, it is from Rioja, therefore it's produced using the Tempranillo grape. Not all Riojas are 100% Tempranillo. Some of them got a little bit of Garnacha in, and some a little bit of Graciano. But this is, I think, 100% Tempranillo. I should look that up, but I'm pretty
Go
certain.
with that.
But the nice thing about this is that on a summer's day, it's lovely and fresh and light. However, equally in the middle of winter, it wraps itself around you and puts a little sort of tea cozy on you. It's just very, very nice. I know from some friends of mine, they drank this with turkey on Christmas Day and loved it. And that's the kind of food that I think this will go with.
Or equally,
not in May, on 30 degree.
The chorizo and pepper canapé with a little ricotta topping.
Look at him.
Has everybody got their canapés? Have you made your little tarts? This is the easiest week for canapé making. I'd love to see pictures.
Impressive. So
I'd love
impressive.
to see pictures.
I think we need to get Elliot Johnson-Paul, our wonderful dining chef, to have a little look at this. He'd be impressed, I think. I'm going to eat this.
Yeah, you eat away. So just putting it out there, just in case anyone missed the question. What do you think the average price of a bottle of wine in the UK is in terms of retail price and bottles of wine purchased? Alice has got the canapé. I also thought you might be celebrating that you learned something there. And Luke's pointed out that Mum's gone to Asda, which is a sad way to grow up, especially with the wines. But we've always actually said if you are going to go to a high street supermarket, then the Co-op has got a brilliant range of wine, really.
I just like to point, Russell Clark's made a declaration. He learned something. I don't know what that is, but that's great. I'm glad we're not wasting our time here, Russell.
No. That's what it's all about. And also, Russell has been pronouncing Ghana. Oh, okay. So in France, the grape is called, not this grape, this is Tempranillo mainly. In France, the grape is called Grenache. In Spain, it's called Garnacha. In Sardinia, it's called Canonau.
So there you go.
It's a minefield. So you were sort of right. It was Garnacha, or Garnache would be a kind of East End way of pronouncing the French version.
Yeah.
Garnache.
Yeah. But anyway, there isn't any Grenache in this or Garnacha in it.
No, but it's a fair point, and maybe that's what Russell learned. So we're glad that we've at least sent you away with something.
Yeah.
I'm going to have my little canapé pairing. Does it work, everyone?
Well, I think it does. I think that there's whatever you've got down the lines there, everybody. We've got a little bit of chorizo, and the chorizo is actually cutting beautifully through this. It's got that touch of spice, but not too hectic. Nothing too hectic. And I think this is one of those red wines. There's very few red wines that I will drink on their own, but I would quite happily have a glass of this. I would not put an ice cube in it. I think that will not help it. You don't want to have this chilled. Those tannins are going to get too hard and they'll become like cardboard. So don't even consider chilling it. But the fruit is there, and it's a great talking point. These wines are such great talking points, especially if you've got your bank manager around for dinner. Well, that's not going to happen at the moment.
No, or ever. But yeah, really nice story to them. Ooh. So we said about Viura being the white grape. We said Eren is the most prolifically grown grape in the world. It's a white grape which is also the most widely grown grape in Spain.
Yeah.
Second most widely grown grape in Spain is Tempranillo. And now Rioja is a very important region in Spanish wine production, isn't it?
I think Rioja is probably the most known wine region in the world. Everybody knows Rioja.
Outside France, perhaps, yeah.
And also interesting to know, Tempranillo, it is a red grape variety. However, it also produces rosé, although the color is quite deep, quite intense. It's a little bit like the bull.
Oh, the dreaded bull.
And which is a bit of a shame. It is just its natural color when they produce rosé out of it. It's not like your Provence roses, which we all know about and we love. Shout out for Chateau d'Olier. And it also produces white wine. And that's when essentially the juices are taken, the juice of the fruit is taken off its skins. So you completely discard the skins and you can produce a white Tempranillo.
Finn wants the ball.
So there you go.
Sorry.
If this dog has another ball, then you guys are going to have to buy an awful lot more wine to keep us in vet bills.
There's no remorse from them.
So again, unfiltered, unfined, natural.
Lots of character.
Oh, and also, Finn, don't even think about it. You are not having it. Also, this wine has not been oaked. It's fermented in stainless steel tanks. It hasn't seen an ounce of oak. And yet it doesn't really need it because it's still, there's a lot going on there.
That's not me.
Oh, do you want it? Do you want it? I so want my ball.
He's not having the ball. He swallowed it whole on Sunday and we had to go and have it.
Did everybody
not
see it?
Not quite surgically removed.
Did everybody see his little neckerchief? Did everybody see it?
We can make him look up then. He might
show
up there.
Look at this.
Boy.
Look at that.
Sort of just coping with it.
This is drooling.
So Aaron, the most prolifically grown grape in Spain. Yep. Then Tempranillo. Then Grenache. And then Verdejo. So you see a lot of Verdejo, Spanish Verdejo. We list a couple. Really nice, soft, fruity style wine.
Why not?
Why not is indeed the name of our Verdejo.
Why not Verdejo? A Billy bargain coming in at just $7.99.
Yeah, it's our new house wine, actually. Brilliant. Suzanne is asking if we got any Pinot Noir recommendations.
Hi, Suzanne. Oh, we got so many Pinot Noirs. My favorite grape variety of all.
So from a more entry level, Chile is a really brilliant place to go with Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
Or all wines generally, actually. Chile, you get excellent value for money, especially at the lower end of the price range. You get brilliant quality if you step up the scale a bit. So we have a Santiago Pinot Noir, which is around about the £10 mark. If you're up for spending a little bit more, getting into the old worldy, and then at the top of the range in Burgundy, all red Burgundy is Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Go on to HannibalBrown.com, go to the search button and pop in Pinot Noir, and there's a bunch of come up. If you're looking for something specific, give us a shout. And I'd just like to make a point out that Mr. Bernard King has mentioned lamb.
Oh, yes.
Because that's what he does.
It wouldn't be a Thursday if the lamb
or a Sunday.
Yeah, or a Sunday. Actually, just going back to Tasmania, thinking about the Pinot Noir thing, we have a couple of really lovely Tasmanian Pinot Noirs, which are, again, cooler climate. You get a much different...
Ooh! Finmacle, get off. Get off. Sorry.
Sorry, excuses.
I can put it in my pocket. You can't have it.
Cooler climate, you get a very different style of wine, especially Pinot Noir, to warmer climates. Chile is kind of an interesting one because when you look at where Santiago sits in Chile, actually near the proximity to the equator, you think it would be quite warm, but there's a lot of altitude. There's a lot of sea and a lot of mountains. So it's a very different kettle of fish to if it was, I think if you looked along the same latitude further around the world in Europe, you'd be somewhere really quite warm, like even close to Morocco. So
what else? What else have we got to ask?
Russell's just saying he needs a wine bib too. Maybe we'll make them available on our website. The Hannibal Brown wine bib.
So before we go, I'm just going to shout out. So obviously it's 30 degrees out there for us lovely, lucky people down in the south. So some really good wines to look out for in this kind of weather. My favorite wine at the moment is from Spain. Albarino.
Albarino.
My lovely Albarino from Reveleste. There's 2 Albarinos on the website. It's the cheaper one that I'm recommending. I love it. I think it's excellent. So have a look at that. Chateau d'Olière,
as the Warburgs have just recommended,
which is an absolute stunner. And we now know officially that we've got a cast of people who are converting from that silly Whispering Angel thing.
Yeah, better than Whispering Angel. We knew it, but now everyone's admitting it too.
Yeah.
Michelle is still hooked on last week's Indian Red, interestingly. Again,
the Indian Red was delicious.
That
Indian Red Shiraz from Sula Estate, Dindori Reserve. Wonderful wine.
But a lovely warm weekend, and with Sparkling Sunday coming up, we cannot avoid the fact that it's Pignoletto is our lovely Italian sparkling that's more interesting than Prosecco, and our Jacques Prouer Blanc de Blanc, which is from Robertson, South Africa. Fantastic 2011 vintage. It's about $16.99 a bottle and just fantastic.
Yeah. So if you like your champagne, this is made in exactly the same way as champagne, and it's a snip of the price, as you know. $16.99 versus, I don't know, Veuve Clicquot for 40 quid. I know what I'd have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Sparkling Sunday next Thursday. It's all about Sauvignon Blanc.
We'll be sparkling.
Oh gosh,
we couldn't wear anything for the piggies tonight.
No, it's true actually. But Sparkling Sunday. We'll do our best. Oh, it's my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Sauvignon Blancs, English wine, and you can see the whole lineup on the website. So do get in touch, get involved. We've got don't forget our DIY tasting kits if you want to get a bunch of households together and have a little do-it-yourself self-drive tasting. Also another thing that we've not even mentioned on our little tastings here is our subscription. So we've got a really flexible wine subscription where
you didn't know we did a subscription.
No,
we do. We never talk about it.
So you can choose 3, 6, or 12 bottles every 1, 2, or 3 months. Super flexible. Great wines. And we'll always include the wines for these tastings, so you can join in with these too. Have a look. It's online. It's called Explorers Wine Club. So
is it too late to do a shout out for personalised label design? Father's Day is coming. Father's Day. You need to personalise a bottle of wine for your dad. It'll make him so happy.
Send us a photo. Choose a wine. We'll do the rest. Russell's mentioning Welsh wine. Actually,
that's going to come up in the English, Scottish, and Welsh, not British.
I will give a nod to Anchor Hills, though. So Anchor Hills, we've tasted a few times. Organic, possibly biodynamic, fantastic, Welsh. But we don't have it listed online. It's very expensive. So the answer, good point, Russell. I'm glad you mentioned it. The answer to the average price of a bottle of wine in the UK is.
Has everybody got their answer in?
I think so. We'll have to go back through the answers to tell you who won. We might need to do that tomorrow. But the answer is
a measly
£5.93 a bottle.
£5.93. Can you believe it?
Now, there were a lot of close guesses there. So we'll go back through and let you know who won. My dad is just pointing out again not to forget Father's Day, which obviously we have remembered now. We've mentioned it, and we must do more about it. So
one final point, actually, we had a poll up of people's preferences between Screw Cap and Cork, and again a drum roll. I'm a bit disappointed. Screw Cap came on from top, only just, but it was level peggings for a long time, 50-50.
You
and then,
lazy people.
No, what do you like? Come on, lovely natural Cork, lovely.
Hey, it is what it is.
Is that a wrap?
Thank you everyone for joining us. We'll see you on Thursday. No, sorry, it is Thursday. We'll see you on Sunday for Sparkling Sunday. Finn will be back to himself. He'll be less hot. He's a bit hot today.
He's very hot.
We hope you've enjoyed the wines. We hope you enjoyed the piggies. We'll get in touch and tell you who's won the competition. So thanks all for getting involved with that.
That's it. Time out.
See you then. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Nice to see you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. What they say? Russell Clerk, I'm hitting you.